Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to tell a quick story about something that happened to me, I think, when I was 8. And the reason I think it happened to me when I was 8 is because I remember myself as sitting on the first row of chairs in the senior primary chairs. Because primary, which is the organization for children in the LDS church, is divided into junior and senior primary, or at least it was when I was going through it. And the younger kids, pre-baptism age, pre 8 years old, would be in rows on one side, and then every time you advanced a year, you move back one row. So I was in the front row of the senior primary kids, which meant that would have been my first year there. And so I was on the right side of the room, which meant that I would have been in senior primary. And so I think I was 8 years old. But to get into what happened, there was a new primary teacher or a new primary president. I don't remember. I think she was primary president at some point, but I can't remember if she was primary president then or just a teacher. No, she must have been primary president. Sorry. Anyway, she saw me, and what had happened was I was sort of practicing contortionism, I guess, because I was a very active 8-year-old, and I was known to have ADHD by my parents and everybody else. And so I had kind of done something with my dress, either pulled it down or pulled it up, and it was not covering everything that it should have been covering. And she looked at me all like that and said, "I see an immodesty." And I fixed everything, and then things continued on. And when she was asking everybody's names, she got to me and she said, "And your name besides Immodesty is," and I told her my name. And that was how I met that particular primary president, I think. And looking back on it, it's really interesting because that could have really messed me up, I think. It didn't, but it could have. I'm glad it didn't. Um, and I've been thinking about the situation, and there are a couple things I want to point out. The first is that it is kind of the job of adults to tell kids when they're not doing something that is socially approved of. So I can't really fault her for letting me know that I probably should have been covering myself up a little bit more than I was at the moment. Um, but what I can fault her for is the way she said it, because I was not an immodesty. But the other thing to point out is that I ended up getting to know this person fairly well as a kid can know an adult in the church, because she was the mother of someone who became my friend. And I think, looking back on that, if she could look back on that, I think she'd probably regret it. So I don't think that this was necessarily a true indication of, the best of that person, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I think that obviously I've said things in the past that I regret too, and not all of them were because I was a member of the LDS church. So I think that everybody has things in their life that they regret. But another thing that I want to point out is that I think it's a little bit counterproductive that people are so concerned with particularly how girls are dressed, and then they put them in dresses to go to church, because dresses are very easy to slide around and not cover everything when you're dealing with little kids who are very active. And so I think that is kind of counterproductive and sad. I think it just shows that our society really hasn't decided what women are supposed to dress like, what it's actually optimal for women to dress like, because on one hand you see the modesty pressure, but on the other hand, all the popular stuff and the stuff that women get pressured by society into wearing oftentimes is more revealing than what men would wear in similar situations. And so it definitely goes both ways. It's a really interesting dynamic. And basically, women can't win, I guess is what I'm saying, because either way, they're going to be judged. They're either prudes or they're sluts. Um, but I thought that this was an interesting experience that happened to me. And even though it didn't really scar me for life because I just kind of shrugged it off and lived my life, it's definitely something to think about in retrospect and think, that wasn't the best. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and consider subscribing. And comment below if you've had any nasty experiences or just weird experiences with modesty culture in either the LDS church or other churches. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.